Hey, it's the new time. It is my Monday night show. I'm gonna have to get used to not saying Sunday night show, but it's Monday night. And to be honest, I actually like Monday a little bit better because I am super rested for my weekend. So it's a good deal overall. All right, you guys know the drill. If you have been here for a while, comment your city and state, please. Let me know where you are tuning in from. My name is Yonci. We have a bunch of new people this week. So if you're just meeting me, like I said, my name is Yonci. I am a content creator full-time, and I am obsessed with all things love, dating, sex, and relationships. I feel like if we understand each other better, we can get along better, and if we get along better, our lives are going to be that much more enjoyable. So we've got Sacramento, California in the house. Hey, we got the OG Walter Blue in Memphis. Hey, Walter. I got a chance to hang out with him last week. That was pretty cool. Hear his voice for the first time. We got Florida in the house. Nice. Okay, guys, if you are watching on the replay after this is live, just skip forward about 2 minutes because at the very beginning, I like to let everybody get in, get settled, and shout them out. Especially people who are tuning in from Germany. Nice. What time is it in Germany, Yasmin? If I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Oh, she just said 1 a.m. Oh my gosh. Now that is love. We got Belize. What time is it in Belize? We got another Florida person. Okay, very nice. Okay, so let's see. All right, let me get my graphics set up. You guys know you need to be on it tonight because I am really excited about the topic. So make sure that if my screens are off or whatever, my graphics are off, that you let me know because, I'm just whatever. Oh, Belize is only an hour ahead of me. Okay, cool. I didn't realize it was that close. Also, the other thing is, excuse me, please take 2 seconds to smash that like button because not I have a fragile ego. It's because YouTube is based on algorithms and they only know if you like the stuff based on your liking and your commenting. So if you're enjoying this, you can do 2 things besides actually spending money. All right, you can actually spend money and buy a super chat, or you can just for free click the like button and comment as much as you want. Okay, that is going to be the ways that you can support me a ton. And we're going to be getting into today's topic. This little nagging cough, I'm getting rid of it, but it's been hanging on. So just pardon me tonight if you guys hear coughing. Thank you. The likes are going up. All right. Before we get started, of course, I have to let you know about my 2 books that I have. You guys support your content creator and learn about the opposite sex at the same time. So we've got the first one, First Date 101. I took a poll and I asked a ton of men what they liked and disliked on first dates. When they didn't know this person, they're just going off of first impressions. And I put together this First Date 101 and I put it's a man's guide to dating a man because it's from men to women. Okay, so who better to learn from than the person you're trying to date? The other one is why women love a-holes. Okay, this is really important tonight because we are talking about masculine energy. This is a little clickbaity, the title, because the reason why women are drawn, whether it's logical or not, they're drawn to the men who have the masculine energy. And typically, a-holes have it, but they don't realize why they have it. So if you understand what kind of things make you have masculine energy, you will draw women. So I want good guys to know this stuff so they can give that polarity that we're going to talk about tonight. Hey, CJ, she's tuning in from Barbados. Thank you for coming back, my love. All right, so you guys haven't grabbed these books, you can grab it on my website, chasingyonci.com. Pretty simple. If you remember my social media handles, you will know how to find me online. So go ahead and get that if you guys want. Sorry, I'm trying to read and talk and think at the same time. Okay, so are you guys ready? We are talking about masculine and feminine energy again, but this time with a little bit of a twist. How many of you guys are on my Instagram? Just type IG if you follow me on Instagram, because I want to see how many of you guys are up to speed. Yes, everybody has hit the like so far. Thank you. Okay, on Instagram, I have been posting recently about, excuse me, about masculine energy in women and when they tap into it. Okay, so let me just pull up in my Instagram. I did a post and I said, I use my masculine energy to protect myself And I said, ladies, how many of you, or I should say, when you tap into your masculine energy, when is it that you do it? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, the caption on this one said, when should you match his masculine energy? And so I'm going to read that a little bit later. If you guys have commented on it, then I'll be reading one of your comments. Those of you who just came in, please come in, tap that like button so YouTube knows, because then they'll suggest this video to other people while it's still live. So tap that like, please, and drop your city and state, and we are going to get started right now. All right. So one of the very first things that I want to address, it kind of made me chuckle a little bit when I was preparing for tonight's show. I noticed that when I was asking questions, and free tip, by the way, when you're communicating, always kind of assume that you don't understand the other person, okay? I think we tend to assume that we understand the other person, but instead of doing that, assume that you don't. It's not going to hurt you one bit. But when you assume that you don't understand, it will force you to ask more questions. And I've really been practicing that lately, and I've been shocked when I have done this, because a lot of things that I thought were obvious, like, oh, I know what that meant or what they meant by that, when I took the time to actually ask, I was surprised. And a lot of times I was pleasantly surprised, by the way. So ask questions as to why the person's doing what they do or what have you. So anyway, when I asked the ladies these questions about when they feel the need to tap into their masculine energy, I noticed that a lot of answers were reflective of being rude, okay? And I put two and two together, and I was like, oh, the assumption is that tapping into your masculine energy means being rude. So I want to say this. Masculine energy is not synonymous with being rude or unkind. Let's get that really, really clear. And I wrote this down if you guys want to write this down as well. For men, being masculine does not mean being rude or mean, and it also does not mean being a dictator or bossy, being bossy, okay? Masculinity is not about being mean, rude, or bossy, or a dictator. In contrast, being feminine does not mean that you are being weak. It does not mean that you are being a pushover, and it does not mean that you're being a doormat. So we need to go into this conversation with a clear understanding first of what it is not. What masculine energy is not and what feminine energy is not. Okay, are you guys with me on the comments? I mean, are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Let me know in the comments, okay? We got new people coming in, so those new people, please come in, get settled, smash that like button, and let me know where you are watching from. And I see that 4 of you guys follow me on Instagram. Wow, so the others of you don't. Okay, so y'all are missing out a lot if you don't follow on Instagram. Every platform is very different, and it has different features and functions. All right, so I want to say this too. So what I said it's not, I want you guys to know that healthy relationships consist of kindness. So whether you are an extremely masculine man or an extremely feminine woman, kindness has nothing to do with your gender or your energy. You just should be kind no matter what, okay? All right, you guys, I was seriously like so excited. My daughter kept looking at me when I was preparing for this because I was like, oh, this is good, because I have to brush up on certain things before I can give it to you guys and formulate it in a way that's going to be hopefully concise and all that. So I'm telling you, get excited, okay? Woo! So let's go into defining what feminine energy is, since I just described what feminine energy is not. And just because it helps, you guys type the word feminine in the comments so everybody knows we are talking about feminine. Feminine is, okay? Feminine is, or if you want, you can type in any of these that I'm saying so that when people go back, they kind of have the little notes to follow. So maybe you can do that. First one, it's open and free. Feminine, in compared to masculine energy, is more open and free. I love you guys for commenting. Thank you. Okay? Feminine, and I'm going to say she, even though men can have feminine energy, it's just going to be easier to say she instead of keep saying feminine, okay? So thank you. She's more open and free. 2, She's ready to give and receive love. She's like ready. She's sitting on the curb, just ready to go. She's ready to give and receive love. 3, she is nurturing. Thank you, Melissa. She is nurturing. Number 4, she is caring. Number 5, she's understanding. Number 6, and I know I'm rapid firing, giving these to you guys if you're typing them for people. Okay, number 6, she is willing to work together. There's that sense of community. All right, she's working together. Number 7, she's orchestrating, she's creating. She is so full of potential. She's creative, right? She's orchestrates and she creates. I love it. Melissa's actually keeping up. This is nice. Okay. And I believe I'm at number 9. She's all about intuition and feeling. She might not be able to exactly explain it, but she's like, I think this is what we should do, or I don't think that we should do this, okay? And finally, she is all about being, contrasted with masculine, who is doing, okay? So, they said sounds like a Leo. So really quickly, rapid fire, she's more open and free than masculine. She's ready to give and receive love. She is nurturing. She is caring. She's understanding. She's so willing to work together. She orchestrates and creates. She's all about intuition and feeling, and she's all about being, okay? The men bring to the table. The woman in her feminine says, I am the table. Okay? I love this. Thank you, Melissa. You guys give her some clap emojis. She seriously typed it correctly and quickly. That's awesome. And if you guys are watching the replay, show some love to Melissa because she's giving you all the points right there up front, okay? Because when I watch YouTube, I love reading stuff as I'm listening. I'm just visual like that. Okay. By the way, if you guys just came in, please, please, please smash that like button so that YouTube knows that this is the stuff that more people should see, and it will then push it out and send a suggestion to more people, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want to let me know where you're watching from, go ahead and drop your city and state. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So we just talked about what feminine energy is. At the beginning, we talked about what it isn't, right? So go back and watch that if you missed it. Now we're going to talk about what masculine energy is. And those of you who are willing to help me out, because it's weird talking to a camera by myself, right? Type masculine. We're going to talk about masculine energy next. So everybody type masculine, 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 masculine. We're going to talk about masculine is. Okay, people who have strong masculine energy, because remember, you probably do have both. And I have a cool little graphic that I'm going to show you guys here. In the blue, it shows, obviously it's just easy, blue for masculine. Masculine men who have primary masculine energy have about 80% they've estimated masculine energy, and a little dab of feminine, okay? They gotta have some feminine. And then with the women, I can't reach across outside of my screen, but you can see the pink one. Feminine women tend to have mostly, which is 80%, feminine energy, and they have a little dab of masculine, okay? Remember, if you have all masculine energy, you will feel aimless in life. And if you're all feminine, you'll feel aimless in life. And if you are all masculine, you will totally feel, what is the word? You'll feel empty inside. Okay? So masculine gives you that direction. Feminine gives you that good feeling and that love. All right, so what masculine energy is, I have 7 total. Number 1, it's strong. Number 2, it's dominant. Let me stop. Number 3, assertive. So we have strong, dominant, assertive. Number 4, they are typically mission-driven problem solvers, okay? Solution seekers. So strong, dominant, assertive, mission-driven problem solvers or solution seekers, however you want to write it. Number 5, they seek release from the restraints of life, okay? They want release. They don't want to be, they don't want both. I mean, they don't want to be restrained. What am I on? Number 6? Number 6, they are competitive. And number 7, they can, and often do, have trouble communicating their emotions, okay? A Bohemian Princess says, what if you're both? Most people aren't both, my love. Most people are both. But you tend to have one that's more primary than the other. And if you guys are on my email list feel free to reply to the email that I sent out today, and I will share with you this really cool test, this little quiz that Tony Robbins has created on his website to test which of your energy is more dominant. Okay, I took the test and it was actually pretty cool. And I actually was wondering if I would have masculine energy, because I have a lot of femininity, but there's a lot of me that has a lot of masculine traits, which allows me to be successful in what I'm doing. Excuse me. Expressing emotions, Melissa, if you don't mind. Well, yes, releasing and expressing them, and communicating them. So don't feel odd or weird if you have both. That just means that you're normal. Okay. How do you get on the email list? Great question. There is actually a link in the description below. If you just want to remember just to quickly get an email, you can write to me at contactyonci@gmail.com. But if you already are on the list, just reply. She says I call it tomboy. Okay, so you just click on that link in the description below and you can get on there. If for whatever reason you can't find it, just DM me. Thank you. You are so sweet to be my scribe today. Okay? So I think I might leave the graphic up for a little while. All right, so that's what feminine is like, and that's what masculine is like. And as people are hearing, when they're hearing the descriptions, they're recognizing like, oh, I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay? But now we're going to get into what prompted this live stream. Why is it that women act masculine sometimes? And if you guys want to comment your answers right now, you can. There's a little bit of delay, so they'll come in after I've gotten along in this conversation. But this is where I'm going to read some of these answers, okay? And those of you who just came in, if you're enjoying what you're listening to, please tap that like button so YouTube will suggest this video to more people. All right, so let me just go ahead. You might hear a little something because there's audio with this. Sorry for that loud noise, you guys. There's a little audio with this, so I'll try to turn it down. There we go. All right, so here are some of the answers. I said, when do you feel the need to mask his masculine energy? I'll read a couple. One said, I had to tell him off. Okay, she said, LOL. The other woman says, when he wasn't keeping up with my communication expectations. Okay, now take careful note of these answers. Someone else said, when he wasn't holding himself accountable to agreements we made within household duties and finances. Okay, he was slacking off. Number 4, when I felt like I wasn't being seen or heard. Okay, here's another one. She said, I never felt like I had to match his masculinity, but I've had to be more alpha in situations where they didn't step up and it didn't feel good at all. And so, let's see. I got tired of him cheating, so I cheated. The last one says, every time they tried to play me or lie and they thought they were going to get away with it, I'm not boo-boo the fool. Sometimes it caused me to get violent. At least that was me back then. Now I'm just by myself. I don't feel like coming out of character or being in my masculine energy if I don't want to. Okay? So you guys have heard cheating, get physically violent, when I don't feel seen or heard. Okay? Ooh. So all of these things, this is what led me to, which I talked about at the beginning, this is what led me to explaining that all these negative things are not necessarily masculine things. So cheating, there's nothing masculine about cheating. There's nothing masculine about being violent. You know, it's you could take certain things and take it to the extreme, but nothing, like if you were to coach someone on how to be masculine, you would not teach masculinity. You would not teach violence. You get what I'm saying? You would not say, the things that they're saying. So a lot of there was a little bit of confusion, which is why at the beginning, sorry I got so tongue-tied, I'm trying to like read everything at the same time. A lot of the things that they're saying were not masculine energy at all. Just they were coming out of character and kind of being mean, right? So why do women act masculine sometimes? Well, you guys, it is a defense mechanism, which is probably not shocking now that you're hearing these responses. Okay, it is not something that a woman is just naturally doing. She's not born a woman and just whoop goes into masculine energy. That is why we have these graphics here. Typically, heterosexual women will have 80% feminine energy. So if she's operating in her 20%, that's something's, when it's in a relationship, excuse me, when she's operating in her masculine energy within a relationship, something is off. Because within a relationship between heterosexual men and women, it should be feminine and masculine energy. She should only need her masculine energy when she's away from her partner who is providing that masculine energy, and she has to go out into the world and do things herself, okay? So, women tend to do this when they are stressed or tired. And for the record, but my audience is mostly women, so I'm addressing it to you, but I just want to say this because I do have men who listen. Both genders can put on the mask of opposite energy when they feel this way. Okay? Thank you, Melissa. So, for example, a man could stop operating in masculine energy if he feels super triggered. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. So stick around, guys. I'm telling you, this stuff is so stinking fascinating. I love this stuff. Here are 3 specific triggers that will almost guarantee to break a relationship. So men watching, do not do these 3 things. Whatever you do not do these 3 things. Do not trigger her. If you like feminine energy, don't do these things because it makes it very difficult for her to stay in it. Okay? The first one, if she feels unsafe, and if anyone wants to be a note taker, number 1, feeling unsafe. That is a massive trigger that makes the woman want to what? Protect herself. Because why? Masculine energy protects. Okay? But she shouldn't. Not in a relationship, because she should be protected by her partner. So if she feels unsafe, her biology makes her want to feel protected. And so if it's not coming from her partner, she's going to protect herself. Same thing with a single woman. It's not her natural instinct to provide. That's not her natural instinct as a woman. But because she doesn't have a partner, what does she do? Starve to death? No, she's going to go out and provide for herself. But when she gets that strong masculine energy in her life, she will retreat and stop taking on that provider role. Does that make sense, you guys? So thank God that she has the capability in her, because otherwise she'd be some damsel in distress starving on the side of the road. Okay? Yes, Tasha, 100%. She can operate in her masculine as a survival tactic. That is what they do. That is why it is a defense mechanisms to defend yourself, protect yourself, and survival, okay? Number 2, thank you, Bohemian Princess. Number 2, another trigger you want to avoid, men. Ladies, notice it if you feel this in a relationship, if you're dating, because what do I say? You need to have the discovery phase. And let's see who knows how long. I say it's a blank day discovery phase. Who remembers how long minimum the discovery phase should last? How many days? Okay? I'll give you a proverbial like gold star if you get that. But you should be watching, ladies, during this discovery phase. See if you feel 1, unsafe, or 2, feel unseen. Yes, Walter, come through with the 90-day discovery phase, okay? So within that first 90 days, what I tell you, don't come in here with stars in your eyes like, like that Looney Tune meme with the hearts. You need to come in, what did I say? This energy. The first 90 days, you coming in with observation energy, okay? You observe. And during this time, you want to see if 1, you feel unsafe around this guy. 2, do you feel unseen, okay? This woman in her feminine energy needs to know she's being felt. Like, you know, people say, you feel me? You feel me? Not just dismissed and patronize, but like, you feel me? That's what they need. They need to feel felt. She needs to feel felt and given attention to. So number 2, she needs to feel seen. She needs attention, okay? A lot of our traits are very childlike, okay, on both sides. But think of a child. They want attention. They're like, hello, am I relevant? Does my opinion matter? They want to feel seen. And number 3, The third trigger is if they feel misunderstood. Have you guys ever done something so benevolently out of the kindness of your heart and the person misunderstood you? Or you just meant to say something that was totally neutral, but they thought you were saying something negative? I told a story about that last week, and I was like, what? So I was so misunderstood. It was the worst feeling ever, because I'm like, if I was being a you-know-what, I could take that. Like, okay, I pissed her off, I was being a you-know-what. But I wasn't. I was actually being really kind and sweet. And she misunderstood, and she was so shut down emotionally, she wouldn't even let me explain. So to this day, 20 years later, she just never understood. Okay? Oh my gosh, Melissa, you're amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Are freaking awesome. I swear I'm the best community ever. Okay. Oh, thank you for the likes, you guys. Are you having fun so far? There's like 2 people commenting, so I don't know if the rest of you are having fun. Let me know if you're having fun. Type fun if you're having fun. If this is interesting to you. If it's a snooze fest, you can type a bunch of Z's. Okay. But if you're liking it, let me know if it's fun. Okay. Number 3, if she's not feeling understood. Here's the thing. Even if it doesn't make logical sense to her partner, I'm going to say this again, fellas. Even if it doesn't make logical sense to her partner, she wants to feel his empathy and his compassion. So funny. The 3 people who are commenting are the 3 people that was fun. I don't know if the other people just have their computer on and they just like walked away. Okay, 4th person. Thank you, Walter. Okay. I'm telling you guys, I'm looking at a camera talking to myself, so it makes me feel like this is more real, seeing comments and stuff. Okay, guys. At least with Instagram, you got the little hearts going up. They know the person's liking something. Anyway, the second thing is under the 3rd point, not feeling understood. She is not going to be able to let go of something until she feels understood. So it was so interesting. I remember having a conversation with somebody. She was an emotional wreck, and she was getting more and more and more fired up. And the more fired up she got, the more emotional she was getting. And she kept saying, oh, I just don't feel like you understand me. I don't feel like you understand me. And when I was putting these notes together, I thought about her, and I was like, oh my gosh. That's why she was kind of spiraling out of control, because she just felt like she couldn't be understood, and she couldn't move on with the conversation until she felt understood. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Taimar, I think. I'm glad you're having fun. Okay, so we talked about the woman's triggers, but now we're going to talk about her needs. So men, if you're taking notes, and ladies, you can see if this applies to you. She wants to feel 4 things. Okay, so if my scribe wants to do this, here are 4 things you can write. This is what a woman wants from her masculine partner. She wants to be sought after. Okay? We don't want to meet you halfway. Okay? We want to feel like you pursued us. Number 2, pursued. So sought after, pursued. Number 3, we want to feel cherished. We want to feel like we're like something so special to you. We want to feel cherished. We don't want to feel like just like any old thing. Number 4, we want to feel honored. Okay? Back in the day, men used to really honor women. They would stand up when a woman would come into the room. They would stop using profanity when a woman would come in the room. They wouldn't talk about certain things that were a little off, a little cheeky, as they say in Europe. They would do certain things. Did I say take off their hat? Stand up, take off the coat. It was this thing of honor. They would just conduct themselves in a way where it was like women they were honored. So that's what the women want. So the answer to my trick question, when is it necessary to be in your masculine energy with a man? The answer is never. 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 And I'm going to explain why. When a woman is masculine with her man, 3 things happen. They're all related, okay? When a woman who should be feminine suddenly turns masculine with her masculine man, the relationship will suffer. Period. Point blank. Number 1. Number 2, why it suffers? Because it kills any romance or passion. So it kills the relationship. It suffers, okay? Because it kills the passion, it kills the romance. And number 3, it causes friction and disconnection. Friction and disconnection. Friction and disconnection. So you got all this tension, you're totally disconnected, You're totally disconnected. You have no more romance and passion. And so obviously it's going to suffer. Okay? So this is a very interesting question, Bohemian Princess. And remind me if, you know what, actually, I'm going to make a note because that's a great question. She said, is being aggressive during sex masculine? It is, but I'm going to come back to this for a purpose, okay? So that's why I'm winking here. Okay, there we go. So aggressiveness in sex. All right. So in my opinion, it is, but I'm going to talk about that, okay? Thank you, Melissa. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have to be fair. How many guys are on the chat? You guys are a guy. Can you comment guy so I can see how many guys on the chat? So far, I've seen at least like, I think 4 women. And then one I'm guessing is a guy. That I can't really tell with the name. For sure, obviously, Walter's a guy. But I want to see how many guys are on here. So it kind of gives me an idea, at least on the live stream, what the balance is men to women, okay? So we're going to talk about what triggers the masculine men. You guys, this is all going to come together, okay? So this is what triggers the masculine men. There are 3 things, ladies, you do not want to do. Memorize this, study it, okay? Is Walter the only guy in here? Walter, I think you're holding down the house for the guys. Okay, I'm going to assume all the rest are women then. That's a trip. Okay. The number one thing you can do to trigger a man is criticize him. Masculine energy hates to be criticized. Okay, I was guessing that might have been a guy. That was the only other one. So those are the 2 that I was guessing. I don't know if there are any other guys. Okay, so masculine energy hates to be criticized. And again, I'm using female and male pronouns just to make it clear. But understand, you can have both of these, okay? Because you're probably thinking, well, I don't even criticize either. But if you typically have the most masculine energy, you're going to be most triggered by criticism. Criticism is the kryptonite to his energy. So if you want to like just like power him down and just crush his soul, criticize him. Because he thrives off of appreciation. Okay? He needs to be admired and praised. And what is so interesting, I did a post. It was a repost from a live stream Nicki Minaj did with Joe Budden. And she was saying, oh my gosh, once I had a son, I realized how much I praise him. And I'm just constantly just affirming him. And she's like, I realized that's like all that men want. And what was so interesting is a woman had a knee-jerk reaction. She's like, I don't want to raise a man. And I'm like, what? Like, huh? And I had to keep asking questions. And I was like, what led to that? Like, how did you take what Nicki Minaj said and come to the conclusion you want to raise a man? And it was like a wire got crossed. I'm not trying to talk trash, but this is a great teaching point, I feel. There's nothing childish about wanting praise and admiration, okay? So we got to stop judging people's needs. If you spend more energy judging the person's needs than understanding their needs, you are not going to get the results that you're looking for, okay? Relationships are about giving and taking. So that's the first one. Do not criticize them. The second thing that triggers a man is feeling like he's being controlled. Woo! You think of those stallions, those wild stallions. You see how hard it is to break them. They don't like feeling controlled. They don't like feeling like they're being tethered. They don't like feeling like they're being corralled. Do not try to control a man. It is not going to go well for you. These women who think, oh, I can lay down the rules and do all this stuff to make him stay. Nah. A man is only going to stay when he wants to stay. You cannot control a man, which also probably is confusing why it's so confusing to some men how women can get so abused and stay, because the feminine, I think, doesn't push back as much to the control. A lot of times the women are controlled. Like, I'm talking about in toxic situations. The man puts in a fear in her heart or whatever the case may be, whether it's physical fear or the threat that he's going to withhold something that she needs and she thinks she needs to survive, so the point is don't try to control a man with masculine energy, okay? If you do, he will eventually hate himself for being controlled, and he will eventually resent and therefore hate you. So don't do that. Okay? The other thing is, if you keep stifling him and stifling him and stifling him, you try to control him, you're always criticizing him, you're going to make him eventually start to doubt himself, and then he's going to be less decisive. So it's like, this is what I said, when you have a man, allow him to be human. Just because he's the leader does not mean it makes him perfect. Leaders can mess up. But guess what good leaders do? They learn from their mistakes. But if every time they make a mistake, you jump down his throat, you're going to give that man PTSD. He's going to have performance anxiety. So let him learn from his mistakes. And he shouldn't be such a loser, like just messing up at every turn, because why? You've taken the time to really get to know him. So if you've taken the time, you didn't rush into jumping into a relationship with this guy, you took your time, you see that he's a pretty smart guy, give him a break if every now and then he makes the wrong turn in life. Okay? Yes, Walter says he will shut down. Hello? So it's technically giving, but it's kind of selfish too. When you give to your partner, they give back to you. So if you're wise, you win the short-term you lose what you might feel is losing the short-term battle, but you're going to win the overall war. Number 3, what triggers a masculine man is when he feels he's being closed off to. He craves your feminine energy. And when you cut off the supply, oh no, no, no. And what do a lot of women do the minute they get upset? They withhold. Bad news. Bad decision. Do not withhold. Don't withhold your affection. Don't withhold your nurturing. Don't withhold your praise. Don't withhold all the things that he was drawn to you in the first place. When you try to fight fire with fire, what do you get? A bigger frickin' fire. Do you ever see firefighters come to a big old burning building and bring more fire or throw kerosene, gasoline on it? No. Because they don't want to encourage the fire. They don't want to add to it. But a lot of times in your emotions, you're not thinking logically and you're throwing gasoline on fires. So we're going to get into this a little bit more, what you can do with the masculine, okay? But it's not match him toe to toe. Let's get into his needs. What are the needs of a masculine man? He wants to do 3 things, okay? The masculine man wants to hunt, pursue, and chase. Now, in relation to women, you could think, well, those all sound like the same thing. And they are very related, but it also can be going out and, making a living for himself, pursuing his dreams, okay, chasing down a business deal. He goes out and does, because remember, the feminine will just be, but the masculine wants to do. So he's going to go out. Thank you, Melissa. You are such a stinking doll. Thank you. Okay. Now, above all, which I forgot to say this for the women, okay? So her ultimate, if you're not going to remember anything else, ultimate goal for women, what does she need above all? Because I said her needs. Above all, she needs to feel wanted. She needs to feel wanted. I want you to be in this space. I want you to be in this space. Come on in this space, okay? Parentheses, loved. And this is so interesting because man could survive on his own. If you go back to the original man, he could survive. But God said, but it ain't good. It ain't good for him to be alone. So he wanted man to have his helpmate. Okay, so the woman wants to feel wanted as his helpmate. Now, with the man, the ultimate goal for man, above all, what does he need to feel? Above all, the ultimate goal for the masculine man, he needs to feel needed. This even correlates with the biblical story, okay? He's doing for her. He's doing for her. He's doing for her because he's filling a need. He wants to feel that need, but he wants to know that she recognizes that he's feeling the need. And therefore, what are you going to put in parentheses? He feels appreciated. Y'all, I got goosebumps. This is why I was so excited, collecting all this information and putting these thoughts together. Walter says, I lost track of showing her that she was wanted. Very enlightening. I love that. I love that. You guys, even after a relationship ends, when you go back and do the work, the relationship is not a loss because you have gained knowledge that you can take into the next situation. Okay? So we shouldn't talk about winning and losing in relationships. It's living and learning, loving and learning. Okay? Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So men, make her feel wanted, and as a result, she'll feel loved. Women, make that man feel needed, and as a result, he'll feel so appreciated. Okay? So we want different things. It was so interesting because there was a debate over should you want or need? Should you want or need? And I thought this was so interesting. By the way, shout out to Tony Robbins. There was an article he did that was just so amazing on this topic. It was so amazing. And he really helped me get my thoughts together and actually fill in some gaps that I was missing. So shout out to him. His post was amazing. But it's so interesting, that dynamic. Make the woman feel wanted and make the man feel needed. So men, oh, wow. Y'all see, this is coming to me right now. What do men often say in a very arrogant and rude way? I don't need a woman. I don't need her. If I have enough resources, I could buy the cook, pay for the cook, pay for the cleaning lady. Shoot, I could go out and adopt a kid. Well, technically, you need the woman as far as like making the baby, but a woman is going to birth the baby. But they throw that around a lot. What do I need? What do I need you for? Why does a man need marriage? Right? Well, guess what I could say? You don't. You're right, sir. You don't need us. But most men sure as hell want us. Okay? They want us. And some women might say, I don't want a man. Dang it. I need one because I hate paying these bills. Isn't it crazy how it kind of goes together? Right? But what a cool thing that we need the men and they want us. But it also fills our ultimate need. If that man feels like he's filling a need, he feels good. And if a woman, she's not really doing anything, but she feels wanted, she feels good. The stuff is so fascinating. Is it fascinating to you guys? Let me know. I don't know. Some people left the chat. I think this stuff is interesting. Anyway. Okay. So whatever you do, ladies, do not withhold nurturing and affection. He needs to feel, he needs to feel needed and appreciated, rather. It jumped off. Okay. So this is what is super fascinating. She says, we can thrive if we do the work to learn. Yes. Okay. So relationship dynamics. All right. If anyone's taking notes, you're going to put the heading relationship dynamics. If you have things in common, if you are compatible, okay, we both are athletic, we like to do these things, or we're both kind of introverted and so we like to stay inside, or we're both into traveling, so we like to do these things together, okay? She said she's watching, but she's not signed in because she's on her TV. Thank you for the comment, love. Johnny submitted a question, and I will get to it at the end if you remind me if I forget to answer it. Okay, guys? But we're going to talk about relationship dynamics. If you have all these things in common, you have the same faith, same political beliefs, that makes you compatible, okay? And it will allow you to get along. That's why when people are friends, birds of a feather flock together. They make good friends. So if you want that friendship foundation, you want that relationship to just work seamlessly, have things in common. And you will build emotional intimacy because you're going to understand each other. You're going to do the same things that you like, right? So you're going to have that great friendship. So will you guys be satisfied in a relationship, a romantic relationship, if you just have great friendship? What is missing, you guys? You might be saying, Yonci, that's great that I found my best friend. There are a lot of people that I'm compatible with. They could be my best friend. But would you want them to be your romantic partner? What are we missing? Let's see who can get it. I wish there wasn't such a delay. Let's see if they can who could figure out what is missing. And by the way, when I'm waiting for those comments to come in, you guys, if you enjoy my content, which I do for free, yes, you nailed the actual word. Good job. Feel free, you guys, if you want to support me, $5 a month goes a long way. Patreon, okay? Patreon.com/Yonci. There's a link in the description. So if you are enjoying my content, and by the way, if you are willing to pledge $5 a month and you want to wait till after the show to do it, just comment pledge so I can thank you now. But y'all, please help me out because I'm working on some serious projects and I have to finance it all myself. So coaching supplements a little bit, but any extra little help that I can count on monthly is really, really big. So if anyone wants to pledge $5 a month, so that's like what, a Starbucks or two? Please just comment the word pledge and I will thank you now, okay? But yes, passion is what's missing. Timer, I hope that I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but 87, you're absolutely correct. And somebody else said passion and chemistry. Yes, Melissa. Desire, Bohemian Princess said, yes, you guys are freaking on fire. Passion and chemistry. Yes, 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 yes. So compatibility, sorry if I'm too loud. My microphone is like showing off the charts. But you need that foundation of friendship, okay? Foundation of friendship to have that ability to work together as a team, but you want that passion. Why do people break apart? Because they lose the passion. Why do people cheat a lot? Because they lose the passion. It's not usually because they can't work together. They're still functioning, which is why they don't divorce. We're still making this happen. You know, she's taking care of the house and I'm bringing in the bill. No, but they want the passion. So let's get into this. Y'all, I buried the lead. This is the important reason why you should be really glad that you stayed so far. Okay? So the spark comes from opposites, opposition, polarity, in contrast to the friendship, which comes from compatibility and being sane, right? So we're so similar, we're almost the same person, we get along well. But when we are so opposite, what's that saying? Opposites attract. So you need to have certain dynamics when it comes to your values, politics, way to raise kids, where you want to live, those types of things. But if you want that passion, this is where energy comes in. And masculine, drives the feminine wild. And feminine drives that masculine wild. This is why you need to understand energy. Okay? Energy is your spirit. Your spirit, right? I'm always talking about we're not just flesh and blood. We are spirit. This is where your personality comes in and what makes you choose certain things and act a certain way. You know, you say I could just feel the energy. It's not something tangible. When you say, dude, read the room. Read the room. No one said anything, but you're reading energy. Oh, this probably might not be a good jokey joke time, right? Maybe everyone was laughing and joking, but you left, you came back, and you didn't realize something happened. You're like, something's different in energy. It's spirit, okay? So, nice. Okay, so you want opposing forces. This causes sexual energy and attraction, physical passion. So the less difference, right? The closer you are in similarity, the less passion. So if you're taking notes, less difference equals less passion. More difference, more distance between you equals more passion. Remember that game? Colder, hotter, colder, hotter. This is cold, freezing, freezing, freezing. This is warmer, 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 hot, hot. Yikes! Woo! Okay, we're going to combust. We're going to rip each other's clothes off. So you want to remember less difference equals Maximum difference is what you want to go for if you want maximum passion. I hope I really nailed that home because this is so important to remember. I'm going somewhere with this, you guys, okay? I promise. So, the more masculine the man could be, the more feminine the woman can be, which is why, well, I'm not going to deal with the graphics. It's going to take too long. That's why I wrote the book that I did. You want to build your masculine energy, men, because it's going to attract the women. What they're trying to do is they're going to be so similar to the women. I'm so kind. I'm so this. I'm so emotional. You're just like a woman. You're not attracting her. She wants to be your friend. Friend zone. And then the men want to shame us for not wanting men to come out of the friend zone. Well, he's acting like a freaking friend. I friend people who are friendly. I'm attracted to people who attract me. I'm just saying. Anyways, the goal should always be, here are the takeaways, okay? This is all building to this. The goal should be to complement your partner, never to match them. So if your partner is getting loud and obnoxious and cursing you out, don't get loud and obnoxious and curse them out. That is the time to do the opposite. That'll probably freak somebody out, actually, if you're not in the habit of doing that. If you typically match his energy, and I'm teaching women, so I'm going to say his energy. But if a man gets loud and crazy, watch what happens when you get quiet. And you say, okay, babe. Okay. If a man says, shut the hell up. Now, I'm using an extreme example because I'm talking about toxic partners. But if he says, shut the hell up, you say, oh, okay, babe. Oh, you guys, it was 51 minutes before the first bot got here. All right. They took a long time. Sorry, guys, I got to stop and report it. And then I got to remove it. Y'all were slow today, bots. Okay. All right. It's not working for both. Okay, it just took a second. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so you want to do the opposite. Now, what did I say at the beginning? Being feminine is not about being a pushover. So if you have a partner who is an a-hole, is disrespectful, dismissive, rude, what do you think I'm going to tell you? You're dating someone who screams at you and calls you out your name. You're dating someone who shoves you and mistreats you. What do you think I'm going to recommend as a dating coach? That should not be someone you're with. Okay? So look out for these things. This is why I say don't rush into sex. You rush into sex, the worst thing that can happen is you make a kid. Now you're permanently stuck with this person for the rest of your life. Whether you're in a relationship with them or not, you're stuck with them for the length of the child's life, which you pray outlasts yours, which means you're stuck with them to the rest of your life, okay? So first things first, let me just say the disclaimer. You shouldn't even be with that person. But let's say, God forbid, you messed around and now you're stuck with this person because you're married, okay? Because if you're not married, why are we sticking around? But if you're married, you want to honor your marriage, you can still combat this problem. You opposite. You do not mirror. You mirror when things are good. You do not mirror when things are bad. When they are displaying toxic and negative energy, you do the opposite. That is putting water on the flames. Otherwise, you're fanning it and putting on gasoline. But you might be thinking, that's going to piss me off. I need to clap back. I need to bite his head off. That will make you feel, because I was going to say that makes you win the battle, but you're not even winning the battle. That just exacerbates the situation and it comes to a draw. No one wins, but you could, quote unquote, lose the battle, what you feel is losing, but you win the war. Over time, when that person recognizes that this is not helping the situation, they're going to eventually stop if they're a person of character, okay? You look like an idiot and you feel like an idiot when you're the only one screaming. You feel justified when both of you are screaming. Let that sink in. If I start screaming at you and you start screaming back, I feel normal continuing with the screaming. But if I scream at you and every time you calmly answer me, eventually I'm going to hear how dumb I sound and I'm going to stop. So if your partner is not listening, don't kid yourself into thinking if I match their energy, they're suddenly going to become what I want. No. You allow that person to calm down and you use your intuition, women, as to discern when would be a good time to talk about it. And if you never find a good time to talk about it, you let it go. When you get older, you should get wiser, because why? You learn constantly what doesn't work. Where they say only a fool, you have to be crazy to keep trying the same thing and then expect a different result. So if screaming back, if cursing him back out, calling him names back out, pouting back doesn't get you anywhere, when do you start to learn how to get wiser? This man isn't stupid. If he keeps hurting you, he's not going to get all of your feminine energy that he normally gets. And it's not going to be long before he realizes, I get more flies with honey than vinegar. I can't get water from a rock. So you know what? Let me pour into her so that when I need a sip, I can have it. And when you are the bigger person, it allows the other person to then join you on that plane, because human nature wants to mirror. So you be the bigger person and you go to that mature place. It will bring that person there. Unless you do the dumbest thing you can do, which is to say and announce your strategy. Well, I'm going to be the bigger person. Suddenly you're not the bigger person anymore. You are just petty. You cannot try to manipulate. You cannot try to manipulate with negative intentions, I should say, because being wise is knowing how to manipulate to your best interest. You do not want to be spiteful when you are the bigger person. You become the bigger person to diffuse the situation. So by announcing it, you're just going to piss them off, because you're basically saying, I'm going to be better than you. That is taunting the person. How is that going to calm them down? It's not. If your goal is to actually calm them down, you say, okay, babe, you know what? I can see you're really upset. And now let's say you didn't try to upset him. You're going to get a lot further if you say, baby, I don't know what I did to upset you, but I'm so sorry. Oh, I can see I upset you. It's okay in that moment. He'd be like, yeah, babe, you did. Like, you don't even realize what you just messed up by saying that. And he'll catch himself. He'll be like, dang, I kind of overreacted. Because you're just sitting there. You're just like, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to upset you. You're not saying I did something wrong. You are addressing the fact that your big old sexy man is upset. And you're like, oh, I didn't mean to upset you. Fellas watching this, are you going to respond in a positive way if your woman says, oh, I didn't mean to upset you. I can tell I've upset you. I'm sorry. How can you not respond positively to that? Okay? He might need to still take a minute, but let him take that minute. If you have a person who needs to calm down, give them that minute to calm down. That's how they calm down. So don't try to be buzzing around their face like a little gnat. I would always say, do you want to be right or get it right? My dad always says, do you want to be right or dead right? So sometimes forcing the issue kills the situation, even though you feel like you won. The other thing is that if you're nasty, the person is suddenly going to be focused on your delivery rather than your message. You know, they say it's not how you say it. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. Nobody gives a crap about what you're saying if you're saying it in a way that seems nasty and offensive. The other thing is, nobody cares about how much you know until they know how much you care. Knowing how much you care, showing how much you care is being calm and loving and affectionate. I love that. Melissa said, I'm learning so much. I've been this person. Growth is a blessing. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for being so vocal, Melissa. It makes me feel like I'm not just talking to a computer or a camera. So thank you. Thank you to everyone, Walter and Tamar and everyone, Tamar who's speaking. I appreciate that. We're typing technically. Now, you might say, okay, Yonci, this sounds great, but who can control themselves like that? I'm glad you asked. What did I say? Your personality is spirit, and people want to ignore the fact that we are spirit. This is why on Thursday nights, I have been doing a study on spirituality. I've been teaching people about spirituality because I talk a little bit about it online, but it triggers some people who have like, I didn't sign up to learn about spirituality. So I've focused it, concentrated it on my Thursday nights, my conversations. It's like a live stream, but it's just a private one. But when you tap in to, what does the world say? The higher power. I say his name, Jesus Christ. But when you get closer to God, he gives you the attributes of his spirit. And his spirit is patience, kindness, meekness, humbleness, self-control, self-discipline, moderation. I'm not making this up. These are actual Bible verses, okay? I just said it in 2022 terms. It is not possible to have someone so close to your face, screaming and cursing at you, you can feel spit coming off of them, and be able to just be like, okay, it's okay. We can talk about it later. That is not something that most people can just tap into. Most people need to get a supply from a higher power to be able to tap into that. I love it. Walter says, and grace. Oh, yes. That's one of the most beautiful things. And we just did that study last Thursday on the attributes of his spirit. And one of them is grace. You have patience and allow grace to people who don't deserve it. Why? Because you can. Because you've been afforded so much grace by the Creator. He doesn't punish us for every little thing that we do. He forgives those who ask for his forgiveness. And so when you are extended that much grace, you want to give it on. So if a guy pops off, you're like, I've had times I've popped off. I'll give him this one. I'll let him cool off. I love that. Fruits of the Spirit. Okay, Melissa, come through. Fruits of the Spirit. I see you. What's understood doesn't need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay? Yes, it is the fruit of your spirit. I'm sure you guys have heard that term. Fruit of the Spirit means there's all these comparisons to trees. Whatever tree you are, you can claim to be whatever tree you want. But honey, we finna see the fruit. So you can claim to be a cherry tree, but if I keep seeing lemons, you're a lemon. You talking all this stuff, talking about you an apple tree, but I see cherries, you're a cherry tree. So if you want to have these fruits, you got to be tapped in. It talks about being grafted into that tree, okay, of everlasting life. But let me not get too spiritual and scare all these people away. All right, let me get back to my notes. So I have to go back and say this just so that we're really clear and nobody goes and says, oh, she's just saying this is how you deal with toxic people. If you can get out, get out. If you're not married, get out. Okay? And if you're just getting to know this person, you see these signs, run. Okay? If a person intentionally provokes you, don't allow them into your life. We all know what that looks like when someone intentionally provokes you. There are literally people who are like, oh, I knew that would piss you off. Honestly, you can call me a fuddy-duddy, but I don't even like pranks. Because somebody who would do something to distress me just for their enjoyment and their merriment and their pleasure, to me that's sickening. Like, you might think that's extreme, but I don't like it because it's never a trick of like, you're going to walk away with more than you thought you were going to have. It's always like you thought you were going to get something good and I'm actually taking it away, or I'm making you think there was a traumatic situation. It never seems to really be something positive. So I just don't like pranks. Like, why are you putting me through all these emotional changes for no reason? Don't test me. Don't provoke me. Okay? The other thing is, if you clearly set your expectations and they're not met, like this person isn't even remotely trying. Again, this is somebody you're getting to know. You set the expectations. You know what? I don't want to kiss on the first date, and this person's just constantly trying to kiss you on the first date. I don't want to have sex before marriage. This person is constantly pushing your boundaries and trying to, well, what about this? Or could we just do oral? If you have set your boundary and this person doesn't respect it, walk away. Stop allowing them into your space. Remember, feminine, I said energy is like a drain. You can either put a stop in it and collect, let it all fill up in that tub or that sink, or you can release and let it go. You don't make things happen. You just accept what's coming or you release it and reject it. Okay? So if a man is coming into your life and you have accepted him in and he's not doing what you want, you don't try to control him. You don't try to change him. And you certainly don't try to match his energy. What do? You release him back to the streets. Have you seen that meme I did a while back? Release him. Let him go. Let him go back. All right? You don't have to get out of your character. You don't stop being a lemon tree. You keep making your lemons. You just don't share those lemons with that man because he doesn't deserve your lemonade. Okay? Here are my final thoughts. Masculine energy is not more powerful than feminine energy. Okay? Because that was what we set out to decide. It is not more powerful. You use energy at the time that it is necessary. So if it serves you, but what do you have to do? You have to actually be paying attention. So you might feel that your masculine energy is serving you in that moment, but is it? Is it serving you long term? If it is sabotaging your relationship, if it is sucking the passion out of your relationship, if it is killing the romance out of the relationship, if it's making him not attracted to you. So if it's just a matter of you controlling yourself, but preserving the relationship, baby girl, stay in your feminine energy as much as possible. If the situation is so toxic that you cannot survive unless you go into your masculine energy, get out of Dodge. Release that man. He's not serving you, so release him. Feminine rejects what doesn't serve her, and it goes so far as to say it destroys what is not needed. So if that means you block, you get rid of all contact, you move, you get rid of it, you destroy that connection. Masculine masculine energy and feminine energy aren't better or worse, they're just different. Okay? I'm going to give you 3 examples. Darkness. Darkness isn't loud, but it sure can be scary as heck. You ever had to go walk outside or even in your own house where you thought you heard something and you have to walk through the dark room? Silence isn't loud, but it sure as heck can be effective. You ever had that teacher get up in the front of the classroom and she's like, okay? So it doesn't have to be loud or boisterous. Water can be extremely calm and your butt can still drown in it. Okay? It could be peaceful, not a ripple in sight. So don't think because something is loud or more visible or, seemingly powerful that it is more powerful. It could just be an illusion. Think about what you want and act accordingly. You challenge that man, you are going to unintentionally invite him to treat you like a man because you are coming to him with manly energy. And I don't know about you ladies, but I want to be treated like a delicate flower. I don't want to be treated like a man. The mom look. Yeah, that is the mom look. I don't want to be treated like a man. Oh, speaking of that look, my dad, okay, he could be in the front of the, like, a totally different end of the room, and he'd do this one thing, his one eyebrow. Other parents had to scream and yell and threaten. My dad would just be like this. He'd make that eye contact, and then if you didn't catch the eye contact and he had to escalate the situation to the eyebrow, oh, you knew your butt was getting tore up when you got home. And his silence was deadly, okay? But don't challenge a man because it'll make him treat you back and challenge you back as though you're a man. If you're feminine, he'll treat you more gently. Now, think about a female lion, okay? She could be a lioness, All right. She needs to protect her cubs. She can have that. She has that side of her. But she could also be like that little lion, like a little kitten on Puss in Boots. Remember that show, that little cartoon? He was like little Puss in Boots. He knew how to turn that on. Oh my God, that was the cutest little cartoon. So think about who gets more love. Who gets their way more? The little kitten who's cute and just, brushes up against the man's leg and tickles his nose with his tail, or the lioness who comes subconsciously, he's going to want to defend himself. Okay? This is also why I teach people, do not put your hands on a man. I don't care if he's 10 million times bigger than you. I'm just so small, I couldn't hurt him. It's not about hurting him. That's human instincts. You're asking a man to shut off like biological instincts to defend himself, and he has to try to not hurt you in defending himself. Because even a good guy, he will try to not hurt you as he's defending himself from you. But you catch that wrong one, he's not going to give a darn. You catch him on a wrong day, so you don't want to find out who's who, okay? Ask yourself, now this is going to sound trippy, but really think it through. If you could only pick one, ladies, and men, you answer in the reverse. If you could only pick one, which would you pick? Would you rather be respected or loved? Okay? Respected and obeyed or loved and cherished? Which would you pick? If you could not, you could only pick one for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. I'm going to wait. I know there's a delay, but I want to see what you guys say. Respected and obeyed or loved and cherished. Okay. 2 women said love so far. I'm not surprised. Hello, Paul Arthur. Johnny says respect. I'm not surprised. As you can see by the name, Johnny's a man. Okay. Let's see how many people answer this. Yes, it's been a while, Paul Arthur. Timar says respect. A man says respect. Okay, Paul Arthur says loved and cherished. And this is interesting, okay? So just listen to this. Okay, Walter, a man, says respect. So remember what I said. Both genders have both energies, and some have more than others. And what's interesting is I've actually had a chance to speak to Paul Arthur, and he's extremely compassionate. He's extremely compassionate, okay? And remember, energy has nothing to do with sexuality. You could be a completely heterosexual man and have more feminine energy, which just means you're more artistic, you're more creative, you're more nurturing and loving, okay? You're more fluid, like you're able to go with the flow. It's not your sexuality, it's just your energy. So for a man to say that he prefers respect or love, that's a high probability that he has more energy, which if you guys email me, I will send you the link to Tony Robbins' quiz. You can see which energy you have the most of. I'll put the graphic back on the chart, which I said this is typical, but it's not all, okay? So you just might be a man who has more feminine energy. But most men, most heterosexual men, and I say that respectfully, most heterosexual men would prefer respect and obedience over love and being cherished. And most women would choose being loved and cherished over being respected and obeyed. So remember, when you have the choice to tap into your masculine energy or not, go with the thing that will give you love. Because when you buck up, you're subconsciously trying to get his respect and get him to obey you. But that's not ultimately what you want. The ultimate is the war. What will allow you to win the war? Okay? So guys, if you ultimately want to be respected and obeyed, don't be a dictator. Show her love. When you're loving, she will naturally obey you and respect you. But if you're a dictator, she will fear you. Okay? And you don't want fear, you want respect. I want to give you a little tip. You're going to have a conversation. When you're having a conversation, try to have the point of the conversation to be to understand your partner. Almost think of it like if you're writing a book report. You don't have to agree with everything to write a book report. You just have to understand it and you have to write the book report. You have a conversation with this energy. I want to understand this person rather than I'm trying to get them to change their mind or come to my side or agree with my point or my opinion, you will have almost no issues in communication. Try to understand, because if you understand each other, you will naturally come to conclusions. And it just might be that, oh, you know what? That is a better idea. Just spend your energy on trying to understand one another. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to extremely quickly go through the questions because I still have the questions that I have to do to answer, but I'm going to go through them pretty quickly because they're not long and drawn out. So if you guys want to stick around for the questions, I'm going to begin them right now. Don't forget to email me. Just respond to the email that I sent you for today's video. Email me if you want the quiz, the energy quiz on Tony Robbins' page. And if you are not on my email list, use the description link below to join my email list. And if you just can't wait and you're not on my email list yet, you can type contact Yonci at gmail.com. Okay, so just think about contacting me. Contact Yonci at gmail.com. All right, so let's get into these questions. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody asked a question and I still managed to gloss over it. Okay, so the question that was asked was, is aggressiveness in sex masculine energy? And I said, in my opinion, it is, because I don't pretend to be an expert on all this, okay? I learn what I learn, and then I come back and report it to you guys. So don't come for me if you think I'm wrong. But I do think that the aggressiveness is masculine when it comes to sex. But here's the thing. It's not bad if you have polarity, okay? So this is why there's that, you know, that dom and fem, or whatever's dom and submissive, dominant and submissive, okay? As long as there is the polarity. So you need to have a partner that appreciates that aggressiveness, because, and even if it's not like overall, there are moments. So find playful moments. Men want to feel like they are, what is the word? They want to feel like a piece of meat a lot of times too, okay? Although they treat you like a piece of meat and they're aggressive towards you, men have said it a lot. I want to feel like a piece of meat sometimes too. I want to feel like she can't keep her hands off of me. So maybe not every single time, but in those moments, you just need to seek out that polarity, okay? So take turns being the aggressor and you can have fun with it, okay? Role play. Get as creative as you want. No judgment, but there's even something as pegging, okay? And it's not tied to your sexuality, although a lot of heterosexual men are like, what? That has to be tied with your sexuality. Sometimes it's just the dynamic. It's allowing the woman to feel the powerful masculine energy because she has it. She has masculine energy in her. So that man sometimes can allow her to have that, and maybe that man enjoys having her take that role for a while. So don't judge people. It's just the polarity for them, okay? But they're still man and woman. They're still a heterosexual couple. That's why I said it's not about your sexuality. It's just about polarity. And sometimes it's about being comfortable in your sexuality, to realize this doesn't make me a different person because I'm open to certain things. I'm not advocating, you guys. I'm just giving you facts, so don't come for me. All right. So here is, oh, and the second question I think was recent. What was the question, you guys? Sorry. This is why it's hard, because I have to scroll and go back. Do you guys remember what the question was? It was a guy who asked. All right. I don't see it. So if you guys see it, if someone wants to scroll and then retype it, then go for it. You're welcome, darling. Okay. So question number 1, I'm going to do my best to remember to put the graphics up. If the gentleman who asked the question earlier remembers, just retype it, please. Okay. So I don't want to make people wait while I'm trying to look for it. Number 1, I recently got out of a serious relationship. Mind you, this woman is in high school. She said about a year ago, and my ex has now moved on and is dating a girl who I still learn with. So she's still at school with her. I'm trying to get over him, but it seems like every time I see her, I get a bit upset. What is the best way to move forward? That is a tough question. Okay, I will add that as number 10 because I only had 9 questions submitted, so I'll use that so we can stay in order. Hang on one second, guys. And was your question just why they want it? Is that your question, Timar? Okay, so my advice, it's not going to be a short answer, but I will just say this. It's honestly, you have to learn to control your emotions. That's really it, because it is what it is. Like, the situation just is what it is. So what I do with my coaching is I teach women how, and this is why I say it's not a quick answer. It takes me like 6 sessions usually to explain this, and even then I don't cover all of it. But you have to be able to learn to accept the situation so that you can control your emotions. You have to constantly speak to your inner child and remind yourself of that situation. I don't know why it's saying, oh, I'm getting an error message, so hopefully the connection will fix itself. But it's going to be tough if you don't do that work. But if you constantly keep focusing your energy on how much the situation is unenjoyable, or it's bothering you, you're going to keep staying there. So I wish I could go into more depth, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done to be able to accept the situation, and then how to ride those waves of emotion as they come through you. So if you would like to, work with me one-on-one, I could give you way better advice, but there's no way I can do that question justice on a short answer like this. Okay, my second question is how long to wait for him to propose? How much time is a red flag, whether too soon or too late? Questions like this bum me out only because it puts way too much control in the man's hands, meaning I think that the woman should decide. If she feels like he's taking too long, that's really for the woman to decide. But I would also say this: why are you in such a hurry if you are in a hurry? Because it's subjective. Maybe she's waited 2 years and she's like, is that too much? I would say, let me try to give a generic answer first of all. I would say no sooner than 6 months. On average, mind you, my husband proposed in 3 months, but I put a lot of pressure on him because I was young and immature. But I would say at least have the guy take at least 6 months, because you need to get to know him too. But I would also ask yourself, why are you in such a rush if you feel like you're rushing? Is it because he's just such a great guy and you're excited to spend the rest of your life with him? But if that's the case, how long have you taken to actually vet this guy? Or is it because you're just excited to get married? Which most women that I encounter are just excited to get married, which was why I was pressuring my husband. I vetted him a little bit, but I was more in a rush to just get married. I just wanted to be married. I don't know the first thing about being a wife, or I should say the self-discipline it took to be a wife. I knew the facts, but I didn't know how to exercise self-control. So I would ask that. So I would say too soon would be like you've only been talking for weeks. If this guy is like, it's one thing if he says you're the type of woman I would like to marry, you have all these wifely qualities I'm looking for, that's one thing. But to be like, I need you to hurry up and sign on the dotted line, that's scary. I had a man who did that. He love bombed my friend, and it's such a wild situation that they're actually doing a show about it. So just be careful. I can't say too much, but just be careful, because love bombing is a real thing. I would say I wouldn't even really be comfortable getting engaged before 6 months, now that I know what I know. And I honestly would want to at least know a man for a year before I walk down the aisle. So meaning like you met him, 6 months later, get engaged. This is minimum. And then a year from meeting him, you're walking down the aisle. Okay? Because it's really hard. You have to be a full-on psychopath to keep up a charade for a year. And if you're a woman who is not controlled by her emotions and you pay attention, you're going to catch him slipping in some way, even if he's a really psychopath. So that's what I say. Time is on your side, always. So wait it out if you can, okay? So hopefully that answers your question. Question number 3, how do you date after being hurt? You're scared to get back out there. Honestly, you have to just rip off the Band-Aid. But this is another question that's not a quick answer. You have to do the work and understand, why do you have fear? If you still have fear, that means that there's more work to be done. Because dating should not be a scary thing. It should be, hey, this is going to work or it's not going to work. It should not feel like my life is going to end if this thing ends. Or it shouldn't feel like I can't live with myself if I'm disappointed again. There should be, when you're in a healthy space, there are so many things that you can put in place to keep yourself grounded throughout the process. You go slowly, you look for red flags. It should not be scary. So the fact that it's so scary that you don't want to get back out there, you probably need work. I'm not, respectfully, I'm not trying to be funny because it kind of sounded like I was being flippant. I don't mean it in a funny way, but you probably want to hire someone or do the work on your own. Um, that's what I do if you want to work with me. But if you don't, there are plenty of resources out there that can help you with that. Okay. Um, Number 4, why is there so much focus on the dating and courtship phase? Why not start at a friendship? Very simple. Most men are trying to get to the cheeks. A lot of guys want to rush and get to the physical side. A lot of the women, they are anxious to get to the romance. It's because a lot of men don't know how to control their lust, their spirit of lust, and they're drawn by that guy down there. And a lot of women are controlled by their emotions. They don't know how to curtail their emotions. They're going off of all these movies they've watched and things about Prince Charming. And so most people are not interested in investing in cultivating a healthy relationship in that foundation. When we talk about compatibility and build a friendship first, they're more interested in the passion because that's the exciting thing. But that passion, you know, it's not going to ever stay as high as it was in the beginning. So it's I could say a lot, but that's what I'm going to say on that. Okay. Number 6, let's see. And by the way, you guys, if you do have questions, you could submit them to me via DM on my Instagram account. Number 5, how does a man express his feelings without being labeled as sensitive? Number 1, you need to have an emotionally mature woman. Okay. Have an emotionally mature woman, because some women think that you expressing yourself at all makes you a woman or makes you, she'll question your sexuality. So don't compare all women the same, because then you're going to skew the data. So an immature woman is not going to be able to handle any emotions other than rage. Okay. But I think the key to expressing your emotions is to not be out of control. Okay. And I think women should be able to do that too. You can have emotions without letting your emotions control you. So I think it freaks the woman out when the man is not in control. So if he's like unconsolable, he is just so depressed, he can't even get out of bed, that becomes scary because he's supposed to be the leader and the provider and all that stuff. So I think you can express yourself, hey, I'm a little bit nervous about this, but don't be out of control, which you shouldn't be out of control for your own self. Okay. Not just to please a woman. Question number 6. Thanks to everybody who is still hanging in here, because I know this is a long night. I'm going to be going on 2 hours here. Number 6, can a man truly love a woman but be in a tough family situation that makes dating hard? So I asked her what she meant by that. She said that this man's father passed away 2 years ago. The mom is doing her nursing degree and she's struggling to take care of the 3 kids. One's 5 and the others are 12 and 14, and the mom is also sick. So he moved to, I won't say the state, but he moved out of the state, I guess, where they are together, and into the other state to assist his family. And he says he can't give her the type of attention required for a relationship right now. So what I told her was, oh, you're basically trying to see if that's a load of crap. I would say, unless this person has shown to have a, you know, a sketchy character, that's probably really what it is. So sometimes men will, you know, try to make you feel better and let you down easy by making all these excuses why he can't be with you. But other times they really can't, for the reasons. Either way, he can't be with you. So the end result is the same. So I would just, you know, mourn your loss, because it's sad. Grieve the opportunity that you thought was there being gone. And you got to move on with your life. So I know for a fact this is where a lot of women get into trouble, where they just rack their brains with all these things. With all these trying to understand the why, the how, the who. Stop trying to be Inspector Gadget. Go off of what the end result is. What is the end result? He's not there. So if a guy is never there and he's like, oh, it's because I'm busy at work, or it's, oh, because I don't care what the reason is. You're not there. It doesn't mean you have to be rude, but you got to do what works for you. And he's not there, right? So respectfully, who cares why he's not? It just is. Now, if he decides to come back one day, then you decide at that time if it works for you. And if it doesn't, that's his loss. Okay? But he's doing what he needs to do, and you got to do the same thing. Number 7, do women still exist that believe in family institution, put God first, and still believe in real love and building with their man, and spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally feeding one another? The answer to that, yes. He said, if so, where do these unicorns exist? They're in the same place as all the other people are. You just have to take the time to look for them. That's it. I wish I had a sexier answer, but that's it. And if you're a believer in God, tap into that. That's massive power right there. Just go to God. God, where is my partner? Help me find them. Okay? There's plenty of stories in the Bible where people are looking for their partner and God helped them out. Okay? So ask and you shall receive. Number 8, how do you stop disagreements from turning into arguments or questions into turning into offense? This is perfect considering what we went over today. You gotta just ask more questions. Don't assume and make statements on the other person's behalf. That is the worst, when a person's talking and then the other person makes a statement like, this is what you said or this is what you meant. No, don't assume. Ask. Ask a question and see if that's correct. The other thing is just watch your energy. Keep your energy calm. Keep it respectful. And if it starts to turn, bring it back down. Dial it down. So whenever people are speaking calmly, it doesn't get into an argument unless people start to become disrespectful or loud or sarcastic and flippant. It's energy. Just keep your energy pure and it will stay cool. Questions turn into offense when you are trying to manipulate. So if you're trying to ask a question to get a result, well, there you go. People don't like it when they feel like they're being manipulated or controlled. Just ask your question and you got to deal with the answer. They're either going to answer one way or the other, or they're going to choose not to answer. You got to leave all your expectations behind. Again, this is why it's so important to pick people of character. Number 9, we're almost done, guys. Number 9, how does a woman go about showing she's invested in a good man? Because sometimes gestures offend. I was thrown off by that question, so I asked her for some examples. She said one example is offering to pay for a meal when a guy says he can't afford it at the moment, but you want to spend time with him so you don't mind. The second example is spending $150 on a birthday gift to fix his broken bike, and it made the guy uncomfortable. Here's the thing. Both scenarios, that's masculine energy. Okay? So it says, she's saying, showing that she's invested in a good man. Again, invested. Who invests? The people with the resources. So even though it's a gesture of kindness, it is highlighting the fact that he doesn't have the resources and she feels the need. You guys see how subtle that is? So she might say, well, that wasn't my intention. It doesn't matter. What matters is the end result. No man wants to be reminded that he doesn't have it, and now she needs to show him. Okay? And there's a delicate balance because you don't want someone whose ego is so fragile that he can't accept help. But that's another thing. Okay? It's a totally different thing. But especially out the gate, I would not do things that remind him that he's not in his masculine energy or make him feel like he's out of it. Okay? And then my submitted question that I got right now, number 10. And actually, let me go back. Let me go back and add to this. So I told you what not to do. What I would say is I wouldn't try to work on showing that you're invested, because I think just invested period is masculine energy. I would just show that you care and understand that most men, when they are not in a place financially that they are comfortable, they typically are not comfortable dating or dating seriously because they feel off. They don't feel balanced. They don't, like, that is what makes them feel alive, when they feel like they are needed. And you're not, that's the opposite. You're showing that he's not needed. You're showing that he's wanted. But women want to feel wanted. Men want to feel needed. Does that make sense? So you can show him that you're wanted by being feminine. I love spending time with you. I want to spend time with you. But I would just really be careful on how you demonstrate. Okay? I hope that makes sense. All right. Number 10. Why do average women think they deserve high-earning men with high values? Well, one, you would have to define what is an average woman. Okay? So these terms, high value and average, they are subjective. So it is human nature to want the best that you perceive you are able to get. If someone is pricing something for a potential client, you're going to give the highest price you think you're going to be able to get. But over time, if you have no takers, eventually you'll probably lower that price, right? That's why things go on sale when they're trying to get rid of stuff. So it's just human nature. Everybody tries to get the best they can. It's the same reason why a high earning man tries to get a really hot chick. He's going to try to get the best. Oh, average looking. An average, well, this is the thing. You use the word deserve. Use the word deserve. And I think that's a tough thing. People are always going to go after what they feel like they can get. So if you look at the world objectively, you understand that in bartering, beauty has value. If objectively, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, objectively, beauty is the currency for women and youth is the currency for women. Objectively for men, resources are the currency for men. So the more resources he has and the more youth and beauty she has, those two people are what the world says deserve each other. So most people are not going to be as objective of their looks as other people, but also looks are subjective. So some people that men say are a 10, I literally am like, my daughter and I were watching a show last night and the commentators were like, oh my goodness, man, this guy's really handsome. And we both were like, okay. So it's objective. But these types of questions, how do I say this respectfully? It doesn't seem like it will help anyone by getting that. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing I can imagine is wanting people to stay within their, what is the word? I guess what I would assume a goal would be is a person would want someone to stay in their lane, basically. But that's never going to happen. One, because lanes are subjective. And two, people are always going to go after what they think they can get. And there are times where maybe there's a woman who doesn't seem that attractive and she's with a really wealthy guy. You never know. So I wouldn't really concern myself if I were you with, you know, why they do that. Because I just don't feel like it will really serve any super useful purpose. I try to say that very respectfully, by the way. And there was one other question. I'll just do a bonus question since there's only one more. How do you feel about the term pick me? I want to answer this question because I hate that term. I absolutely hate that term. I think that it's so absolutely silly because anytime somebody assumes that they can know a person's heart, I feel like they just make themselves look foolish. I cannot say with 100% certainty why you're doing what you're doing, and I'm not going to sit here and play that game. So if I'm criticizing you, calling you a pick-me, one, that's arrogant because who am I to say, you know, what you're doing is right or wrong or whatever. Wow, there is such a delay. Sorry guys, I'm distracted by this on the screen. Who am I to say what you're doing and why you're doing it? That's not my business. But getting past that initial reaction, the term is meant to be used for someone saying, I'm so desperate for attention from the opposite sex that I'm going to just say or do anything to get their attention. I don't know of people who are just so turned on by somebody making comments, let's say on social media, like, wow, you're just saying all these right things. Even if a person were to be sucked in by that, eventually you would see that person in real life and their character and you pick them out. It's annoying to me because I typically see people make this comment when the person simply disagrees. That's why it irritates me so much, because I will say things to women, you know, or say things to men, and I've had somebody make that comment. It doesn't happen often. It's usually people who don't pay attention to my content whatsoever. They'll see one thing and comment, but usually it's because they can't imagine that I really believe what I'm saying. Most people can't really believe what I'm saying, so it's just easier to assume that I'm just pandering to somebody. And it's laughable to me because if they actually look at my content, they will see I am extremely objective. Not to toot my own horn, but I get complimented on that all the time. Wow, you are on the women just as much as you are on the men. You don't just stick up for women. You don't just stick up for men. You try to stick up for what's right. And I take pride in that. So I just feel like that's like, such an easy, cheap shot that people try to throw. It's like, who cares? Even if they are a pick me, if somehow it's proven that they are, who cares? Like, why are you spending your energy critiquing what someone else is doing? Like, worry about yourself. I just feel like people are so, they spend time just worrying about things that aren't going to help anybody. All it does in that moment is make them feel better. Like, they think that they feel better about themselves. So it's just like, okay, dude, you're no better than the pick me then, if they are really a pick me. Okay, so that's it. Like I said before, you guys, if anybody is interested in pledging because you just want to support what I'm doing, God bless you. Comment the word pledge so I can shout you out. But it's patreon.com/Yonci, and you can find the link in the description below this video. If you could do it, the entry level tier is $5 a month, but I'm telling you, it will go such a long way. This was a really long show tonight because I had to cover my content plus do the questions. So let me know, actually, you guys, let me know what you enjoy more. Do you like doing concentrated topics like we did right now? Thank you, Walter. He's saying LOL because he was literally my very first patron like over a year ago. Thank you. But let me know if you guys like the answering 10 questions more, or you like the presentation like I did on a particular topic, or do you want a mix of both? So let me know which ones you prefer. You guys are awesome. I'm going to give a special shout out to Paul Arthur, Walter Blue, Johnny Sanders, Timar, Bohemian Princess, and massive honorable mention to Melissa Lott. Shout out to Janae. She also commented. Huge thank you to Melissa Lott for scribing and writing all these comments. But the people that I named, you guys kept it fun for me because it's just weird talking to my camera. Okay, if there's no comments, I could see people are there, but there's no comments. So thank you that you interacted with me. It makes it fun for me. You didn't have to, but it makes it fun for me. As I'll still give. He said, I like this and a mixture. Okay, cool. Glad for the feedback. Thank you so much. So as always, because there's a little bit of a delay, when I talk, it's about 2 minutes before you guys see it. So for example, right now, as I'm talking, I'm about to sign off, but I'm looking at the little live one and it's still on question number 10. That's how much of a delay there is. So I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to shut off my camera, but I will stick around and hang out in the comment section to answer any questions, or not really questions, but address any comments that you guys have. And so I'm going to sign off. Until next time, make sure you guys tell someone that you love them. And I pray that you guys can feel just how much I love you.